I lay me down, let's get this off my chest first. Excerpt of my life, I call it my next verse. I'm stressed, keep it in perspective, I'm an expert about this northwest way of life, hey, it could end worse.
Welcome in, everyone. This is episode number 12 of UpLeft State of Mind, the podcast where it's okay to not be okay. This is the show that unpacks the pressure, the pain, and the process. From mental health struggles to finding your identity, the healing process, and even ways that we can grow as individuals. There's no filters, there's no fluff. Just raw conversations with people who are learning how to hold everything. I'm your host, Rizzle. Whether you're tuned in from somewhere inside the beautiful Pacific Northwest or anywhere else, this is your safe space. It's a place to breathe, and it's a place to remember it's okay to not be okay. Now, before we get into the show, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping here. Today's episode is brought to you by Seamless Electrical Solutions. Whether it's wiring, repairs, or full electrical work, Seamless has you covered with quality done right. As a master electrician in Massachusetts, they're committed to keeping your home and business running strong. We're honored to partner with a company that values community and believes in supporting open conversations about mental health. Learn more at seamlesselectricalsolutions.com. All right, let's get into it. So, as you guys know, if you've been here before, if you haven't been here before, welcome to the show. At the beginning, I like to do a self-check. I just take a minute, I check in with myself, I make sure that I know what feelings I got and which ones are going which way, and just kind of keep everything in check. And I don't have too much to complain about. On the negative side, everything's going good, really. Work is stressful, but if you guys have been here before, work is stressful all the time. So that's what I asked for, and that's what I get. So I deal with that by filling my plate with other things to keep me going, other positive things. And the give back is this weekend, and I got another show next Friday, and just a bunch of cool stuff, a bunch of positive things going on to keep me level. So, everything's good. Nothing to complain about. As always, I wish I had a little more time in the day, but that's what it is. So, without any further ado, let me bring on, well, probably the most loved DJ in the entire, I would say at least the entire Willamette Valley, maybe even the entire state of Oregon. She was the DJ at my wedding. She has been, we went to, we've done a lot of shows together, And so let me introduce you guys to Danyell Byro. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing damn good.
Good. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So why don't you just introduce yourself? Tell everybody just a little bit about you and what you do.
Well, I'm Danyell Byro. A lot of you may know me by DJ Byro. As you can imagine, I'm a DJ, as you mentioned. I've been doing that for about 11 years now, and it is one of my favorite things in the world. Yeah. I was blessed to be able to do it for full time, nothing but music for like 2.5 years before COVID hit. But COVID, it messed up a lot of things for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I had probably a dozen weddings drop that month, countless hip hop shows, private events, a couple corporate events, and it hurt a lot. So now I still DJ very actively, but my main thing is I bartend and run the Tiki Lounge over on Lancaster. Which me and Rizzle here actually have a show coming up.
Yes.
In December.
Uh-huh.
And
I'm
gonna do
excited about that.
A little toy drive to try to raise some things for these kids out there, because as somebody that came from a family that isn't very fortunate, to be able to have the means to give back to the community is awesome. Mm-hmm. So definitely gonna exercise that.
Oh yeah. So DJ, so what made you get into music?
Well, I've been playing the viola and the cello. I dabbled in the violin, but since I was like in fourth grade.
Okay.
So music was a very active part of my life. My parents were always blasting music in the house. Even though we didn't have cable television for the majority of my life, we always had a speaker, a cassette player. There was always music going in the house.
Yeah.
My dad was one to walk around loudly singing, the Beatles or the Stones or whatever it was, his vibe that day.
Hell yeah.
So music was a big part of my household growing up. When it came to actually getting into DJing, though, my ex DJ Shaw, we were living together at the time, and I remember he made this transition, and I was like, I feel like you could have done that a little better. And he's like, if you think you know what you're doing, then be my guest. And I'm like, no, my bad, my bad. And he's like, no, really, we're literally the only people in this garage. You want to play around? And that had to have been like 10 o'clock at night. Well, next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. and he's like, let me show you a cool trick. And he turned that motherfucker off. And he's like, look, we can practice more tomorrow and this weekend, but it's like 3 a.m. We should probably go to bed. Like,
yeah, he's like, give it a rest.
You done smoked up all your weed. You drank all the beer. We gotta go to bed.
Yeah. And so that was just like, that was it for you. Like, you were like, you're like, yep.
I was like, I like this. And I DJ'd in that garage, night in, night out for probably like 6 months before anybody besides him and our roommates actually saw me DJ. And we had this house party. And I remember my friend B came in and she's like, bitch, what are you doing behind the tables? Well, this is great. This has been rad. I was like, yeah, I've been practicing a little while. And DJ, no, she's been practicing like all the time for the last like 6 months. So yeah.
That's awesome. It
was a blast to start off.
Yeah, that's so cool. So what does music, does DJing and being in the scene and stuff, does that help you? Would you consider that like one of your outlets?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It has been such a savior from the people that I have met in the industry to all the things that it's given to me to enrich my life and tools that helped me keep going, to being able to then flip that around and give that back to other people.
Yeah. Is
such a rewarding feeling. And I don't know, just seeing how all the tables turn.
So what's your history with mental health been like?
Oh God, that's a loaded one.
That's usually the response that I initially get when I ask that question.
Now as an adult that has learned a lot more about myself, I recognize that it started at a really young age, but I think like a lot of people don't, I didn't really realize that I had any type of mental illnesses until I was way older. I grew up in a household, we didn't have health insurance. If there was something wrong, it's like, hey, slap some duct tape on it and keep going.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really recognized that anything was, wrong with me or, out of the ordinary until I was, I think like 13 or 14. No, actually it was high school. I remember because I started going to West Salem High and I started skipping school a lot. And it was panic attacks. And I couldn't recognize it at the time, what was going on. But I would get this, this tight feeling and this dreadful feeling, and I couldn't talk and I couldn't describe it to anybody. So I would literally grab my shit. I would walk out of the class and I'm like, deuces, bye. And I would get on the city bus and I would just ride around until I felt like I could breathe again. Yeah. And I don't know why I felt safe on the city bus, but I did. It was like I could just put my headphones on and ignore everybody. And, nobody's going to talk to me because it's a city bus. Nobody talks to each other. And eventually I got caught. And they're like, yo, your daughter's missed a ton of school. And at first when I told my parents, I remember my mom kind of acted like I was bullshitting. She's like, no, this sounds like a terrible excuse. You can't breathe, so you leave class. Why wouldn't you tell the teacher you can't breathe? That sounds like a medical emergency. And I'm like, no, I mean, I could physically breathe, but I felt like I couldn't. And my dad was actually the one that recognized it as something wrong. And he's like, I don't know. I got some buddies from Nam. He was in the Vietnam War. He was a Marine. And he's like, I have some buddies from Nam and they have all these issues, and it kind of sounds like she's having like panic attack or an anxiety attack or something like that. And he recognized it. He's like, I actually believe her, and maybe we should look into it. And finally, they took me to the doctor, and they're like, yo, yeah, your daughter has pretty bad generalized anxiety. She's having full-blown panic attacks. And also, I don't know if you know, but she's depressed as fuck. And I was like, I told you something was going on. Like, I tried to tell you, like, I don't feel right. Something's wrong, and I can't describe what. And at the time, they tried to put me on Prozac. But I had a couple of friends that were on Prozac, and they were zombies, or when their lows would hit, they would become super suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
And that scared the crap out of me. I was like, I may feel a little tight in the chest sometimes, but I don't think I want to die. Like,
yeah,
I've thought about it a few times, but I don't think I want to die. And I feel like that stuff is going to make me want to die. Like, because that's how I've seen it treat all my friends. And so I turned it down, and they started talking to me about different, more natural, healthy alternatives to dealing with the depression and stuff like that, and different exercises that I could do. And exercising was actually a big one.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to really get into like weight training and stuff like that. And that helped a ton. It didn't take away the anxiety attacks, but it definitely helped me give me an outlet to do if I felt some type of way. It's like, no, I may feel this way, but I know I have gym next class, or I have aerobics next class, and I'll be okay. If I can just make it through to that, I know I'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But even before that, oh my God, I started raining hell on my family when I was probably like 12. I got into drugs at a really young age. I smoked meth for the first time when I was like 12, almost 13, which sounds crazy to a lot of people, but it was exposed to me. I wasn't well educated on the effects of it. And, I was already smoking weed. What's this other drug that you smoke? It's like the same thing, right?
Right.
And I'm sure that probably played hell on my mental health at that age. Because I remember that was when I really started having mood swings and really causing my parents hell and freaking out all the time and trying to like assault my mom and just acting like a little crazy person. And I remember my mom screaming at me once, and she's like, "Are you on fucking drugs?" And I'm like, "No, bitch, this is your fault." And just trying to turn the tables any which way that I could. But it wasn't drugs, and that combined with these other issues that were going on in my head, it was gnarly. And got in a really toxic relationship at a young age. And it all just felt so normal, like, because I hadn't had the best examples of what healthy was or anything like that. So it just felt normal. I'm like, all my friends are kind of in dysfunctional relationships. That's not a big deal. I've watched my parents argue my whole life. It doesn't matter if this dude screams at me. That's normal, right? Like,
right.
And it absolutely wasn't. It was so unhealthy, but we were so blind to our actions at that point. And me and that dude, Miguel, rest in peace. We were together from like 13 to like 16, almost 17, like a good portion of my youth. And it was so unhealthy, and it all seemed so normal at the time, which is wild looking back on, because I would never deal with that now.
Yeah. I mean, and I've encountered a lot of kind of stories like similar to that, where people are just exposed to things at a young age, and then it just becomes part of the norm.
Yeah.
And that's got to be so difficult to process, all of these things when you're a kid and trying to figure out like what.
Yeah, at 12 years old, you're still a kid at 12. Like, you're a child.
Yeah. Let's say what's up to chat real quick. Kenny Johnson says, "What's up, guys?"
Hey.
He says, "Just got done with my 3rd day of peer support class of mental health and addiction. That's awesome. Two more days, I'll have my certificate and I'll be a specialist." Well, let's see if we can get a little round of applause there. Yes, sir. He says, "Today was all about learning how to deal with trauma. My brain is drained." Yeah. Riz, can't wait till Sunday, homie. My brother's coming too. Cool. Yeah. Yep. The give back is going to be great. Kenny, thanks for being here, man. So let's see here. What kind of outlets did you have? Did you have any outlets back then? Any positive outlets back then to deal with that stuff, or was it just kind of more coping?
For the most part, it was a lot of coping up until I got to like high school and I started going to West because I got kicked out of school in like 8th grade for selling weed because I was a hoodlum at a young age. So I didn't get to go back to a normal school until midway through my freshman year. And I was living in Northeast Salem at the time, but they gave us this option because the North Salem schools were doing so poorly, North, McKay, that they gave us this option to bus us all the way to this brand new school. And my little sister at the time was just about to start middle school. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to leave all my friends, but I feel like it's the healthiest option. Let's go to West. And I'm so glad that I did because it changed my life so immensely. It gave me so many outlets and so many people that were more aware of their mental illnesses. And they taught me a lot about my own, because a lot of these were kids that had grown up in homes that had healthcare and had the access to the help that they needed. They had been to therapy. They had been to psychiatrists and stuff. And they had so much more insight into what was going on up here than I did. And they taught me so much.
Yeah.
Plus, like I said, I started getting into sports and exercise was a big one. That helped me deal with things a lot. Got into track and field, did the flag football thing. And that gave me a really good outlet. And it gave me a lot more support than I ever had before. The teachers were good. They actually cared. They actually gave a shit.
Yeah. Well, in sports, like being on a team and Yeah.
So that helped a lot. But up until then, I didn't really have many healthy outlets. It was like, no, we're going to go smoke or drink or do what the fuck ever, which I'm sure that wasn't helping any, especially at that age. You're flooding with hormones. All these things are changing. And I'm like, no, let's go do some drugs. Like, while looking back on.
Yeah. Rich E in the chat. Good evening, all. Hope you had a great day. Thank you, Rich, for being here. We really appreciate it. So can you take me? I try to ask every guest to take me through kind of a rock bottom moment in their life. And it doesn't have to be like your lowest or, but just something that we can set the stage to maybe help someone that has gone through something similar and doesn't know how to deal with it, or maybe someone that hasn't encountered something similar yet, but will have the tools for it after this to deal with it, in the future. Just whatever you're comfortable with sharing.
My lowest point of life was by far, it was about a year period of time that it was one thing after another. It was actually a little less than a year. Within like 7 months, my dad passed away. Then my little sister passed away, who was my very best friend in the world, Danyell Byro. And then my daughter passed away 3 months after that. And she was only almost 3. She was taken by meningococcal. It's a rare form of meningitis. Shitty fact, Oregon actually has the highest meningitis and meningococcal related deaths in any of America, which is wild because they don't have any real information behind it. But
I'm really sorry to hear all of that.
That was by far the hardest time in my life. I remember after Bella, my daughter, passed away, and I had so many friends that were like, some of them were real raw about it. They're like, look, I'm afraid you're going to kill yourself. I'm really afraid. I know you weren't doing good after, your dad and your sister passed away, but that's a lot to lose in a short amount of time. And I'm afraid that you're going to fucking off yourself. And honestly, I thought I was going to. I wouldn't say I had like direct plans to, but I was like, well, if it happens one day, it happens. I don't have anything really invested in anything else. I have a boyfriend, but, whatever. And I didn't feel like I had a whole lot to live for.
Yeah.
So it wasn't actually like surviving that time of my life didn't feel that important. And I think a lot of my friends saw it, so they stuck really close by my side. And DJ, my boyfriend, he stuck very close by my side, and bless his heart, he's still one of my favorite people in the world. I will always be very grateful for him because he helped me through a lot of that. Even when I was an ungrateful, mean bitch sometimes. I've learned through the years I have to work on not projecting, because I was projecting a lot of the time, even though it was no one else's fault. It wasn't anybody's fault, all the things that happened. But I made it other people's issues, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when so much happens like that in such a short time, I mean, it kind of seems just natural to try to place blame on something,
Yeah.
Just to be able to say, that's what caused it. And so what's the hit? I mean, I feel like my dad kind of went through that as well. He lost his dad, and then his mom, and then his wife, all really within, a couple years. And it's I can't imagine the process, the healing process. What has that been like? I mean, I know that stuff like that, there's part of you that you'll never, obviously get back.
First off, thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it. It's been a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And it's a roller coaster. Grief is always heavy. It's always heavy, forever. And at times it's felt like the roller coaster would never slow down, but it has, and it does, grief and that weight, it's always going to be there, but I've learned better ways of dealing with it as compared to projecting on everybody else or just drowning out everything that I feel, because you can't do that forever. Mm-hmm. You can try, but it just leaves you at a further rock bottom than you were already in.
Yeah. I know when I lost my mom right before I turned 17, and it's taken a long time to even realize the different stages of the grieving process.
Oh.
Because I never grieved, and I always just put the strong face on, and it's crazy to now that I'm realizing it, and sometimes it just hits me and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna cry right now. Yep. I guess I still have some stuff. Yeah. Yep. But I can't. Yeah. So what was there was there a point when you knew I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna be able to pull through this and move forward, and
it's hard to really say exactly when. I know a big turning point was last year. I have spent a good portion of my life, especially in adulthood. As a teen, I wasn't very suicidal or anything like that. But come adulthood, there's been a lot of times that it seemed like just a great option. And it took almost dying, actually, this last year before I realized that, oh my God, I have so much to live for, and I don't want to go yet. I'm not ready to go anywhere yet. Despite all the times that I maybe wanted to die, I was ready to fight for my life with every ounce of my being. And it sucks that it took getting to that point, but it is what it is. You can't say when I'm going to be able to look those demons in the eye, but please do it sooner than later, because eventually you have to face them. And the last few years before that, I hadn't been taking care of myself mentally or physically. I had just given up exercising, sleeping until, noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon every day, spending most of my day in bed. I'd get food, go back to bed, was just miserable and putting on a lot of a front that like I'm okay. But those closest to me, they knew I wasn't too okay. I remember my best friend Morgan at one point hit at my roommate and was like I'm worried about Danyell and just keep an eye on her because I'm afraid she's gonna hurt herself or something. And my roommate didn't tell me at the time. She didn't tell me till a long time later. Was like, I'm so happy and so proud of you and seeing you doing so good, because there was a point that Morgan hit me up and she was just really worried about you and scared for where you were at mentally and physically, and that you just let yourself go. And I hadn't. And at the time, I would have never admitted that. I'm like, whatever, I'm fine with how I am.
Right.
But in reality, I'm like, I knew I was suffering, but I also just didn't care. And, that's the thing with suicidal tendencies. They don't always look exactly like what everybody thinks they look like. It's not necessarily cuts on your body or, trying to hang yourself or something. Sometimes it's smoking 3 packs of cigarette a day, hoping that maybe one of these lungs collapse, or drinking yourself to fucking death and just thinking maybe one day I won't wake up. And that's what it looked like for me, was just not caring about my general health. And you can only do that for so long. None of us are getting any younger. We're aging every day. We're getting closer to a body that doesn't do us any good every day if we don't take care of it. And last year, what a year it was. I actually lit my house on fire, smoking a fucking cigarette in the backyard.
Oh my God.
And that displaced me. Luckily, it was just external damage, but the electrical was fried. So we were out of the house for a while. And so I was couch hopping between friends. And at some point contracted COVID, which they said that was the cause of these blood clots. I got a deep vein thrombosis in my arm and a pulmonary embolism in my lung, as they called it, a widowmaker.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was in the hospital for like 11 days, terrified. It was actually the first time I've ever been put on actual anxiety meds, because I was freaking out every day in the hospital. I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. I have a life outside of here. And it was in that 10 days that I realized, I was like, oh my God, like, I need to get out of here and I need to live life. Like, I have things that I need to do. I have people that count on me every day, and I can't let all these people down. I can't. Like, I can't let me down. I got things that I still want to do in life, and they're outside of this hospital walls. This can't be the end. I refuse to let this be the end. And yeah, that was a life-changing moment for me. The day I went to the hospital was the last day I ever smoked a cigarette. Gave that up. Fucking deuces. I still smoke Halloween, but
hey, you know what? Cigarettes are a nasty. I love cigarettes, and I haven't smoked in 10. I just had my 10-year anniversary for.
Congrats.
Yep. Man, it's such a nasty habit, and so congratulations to be able to get rid of that.
And I had been smoking for 22 years at the time. I remember when the pulmonologist came in and they're like talking to me about my lungs, and she's like, how old are you? I'm like, 34. When you started smoking? I'm like, honestly, like 12. She's like, oh, 22 years. I'm like, well, God, that sounds like a lot when you put it in numbers like that. Yeah, 22 years, I guess. Of my 34 years, I was like, holy shit. Like, oh my God, I need to stop that. Like, this is going to kill me. Like,
yeah. That was,
give me a second. I got to shut these blinds.
Oh, you're good. Kenny Johnson says cigs are nasty. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Congrats to both of you. I wish I could. Rich E says, congrats to both of you. I wish I could kick it. I'll keep trying and get it one day. Yeah, Rich, you can do it, man. It took me a long time. I was almost a 2-pack. Well, I say almost. I was a 2-pack a day smoker at points, and I quit, and it's been 10 years, and we're we're trucking along, and I haven't looked back once. Haven't had a slip up or nothing. So yeah. Well, I guess while we have a second, let me tell you guys about my show this Sunday. It is Rizzo's Give Back, 5 p.m. in McMinnville, Happy Acres at the Bayou. 5 to 9. We got music. We have a bounce house. We have a food truck, face painting. There's a raffle. We got a bunch of prizes. It's going to be great. Bring the kids. Kids 12 and under get in for free. Bring your school supplies. Go to the store, get school supplies. Bring $15 of school supplies and your receipt. You'll get in free. You get a dollar for dollar discount at the door. It's going to be an awesome time. So let's see here. So that was right before my wedding, huh?
Yeah, it was very shortly before your wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that now. Well, I'm glad that everything worked out. That's
because I remember at your wedding, I had to run a cord all the way out to my tent so I could run my CPAP machine, because throughout all this not taking care of myself, I developed sleep apnea, which sucks, but you know what? It is what it is, and I sleep like a baby now. I get 8 hours of sleep a night with my fucking CPAP on, and I love that bad boy. I wish I didn't have to have it, but it's worth it to stay in good health. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's, I wish I didn't have to take my antidepressants every morning, but I do.
Yeah.
And, it's just kind of what it is.
Exactly. If it keeps you in good health, then hell yeah.
Yeah. So I like to talk about the trauma a bit, and then I like to flip it and talk about the triumph too. Because everyone has some proud moments also.
Oh yeah.
And that really, and that's just as important to mental health as the lessons that we learn from the trauma and stuff. So can you take us through like one of your proudest moments?
One that always stands out in my mind. Me and my mom, we weren't always the closest growing up. We had a really rough relationship most of my life. And I wouldn't say I was like the black sheep of the family, but I was definitely the troublemaker between me and my sister. She was straight A's and B's. She was really into like extracurricular stuff from a young age. She was smart, and she stayed out of trouble, and she kept her nose clean. Well, I was the polar opposite pretty much. Once I started to apply myself in school, I did good, but I was a troublemaking little shit.
Yeah.
And I remember when my mom was in the hospital, and she was dying from cirrhosis of the liver. She was in there for quite a while. So she'd gotten to know a lot of the nurses really well. And I'd come in there and I'd hang out a lot, and she'd get new nurses every once in a while. And every time she would get a new nurse. So she knew that I DJ'd all these different types of events, and that I'd gotten, some pretty cool opportunities. But most of the time she didn't know who the artists were. It was just like, oh my God, I'm DJing this guy's show or this guy's show. And
yeah,
I'm so excited. But the Mike Jones show, it was in Portland at the Paris, and because she knew who Mike Jones was.
Yeah,
she remembered me being in middle school and his music being all over the radio. She remembered buying his CD, and she would tell every nurse that listened, was like, my daughter, she DJ'd for Mike Jones. Like, just who Mike Jones is, right? Who Mike Jones? I'm like, Mom, stop it. Like, don't do the who Mike Jones. You're embarrassing me.
Yeah.
Like, but she was so proud. I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And it was like one of those moments I'm like, despite all the times that I know I disappointed her a lot, I knew that I made her proud. And she passed away like a week later. And it just felt really good knowing that I got to make her so proud. And that same year, I got to DJ on stage at the Moda Center. And, despite that I know all those people aren't here anymore, I know that they saw me, and I know that they saw, me play in front of 30,000 people. And that was such a cool thing. Because I remember I think it was Stormy, talking to my mom when he gave us a ride to like Walmart or something to get her some meds, that like we were going to do such big things this year and this and that. And we did so many big things that year. 2019 was lit.
Uh-huh.
It was a hard year losing my mom because we had just really started to become close that previous few years. And after a lifetime of not being close with her, it was cool to finally have that.
Mm-hmm.
But that made me really proud. Her just bragging about these cool things I had been doing and being able to have those achievements. Like, fuck yeah, I know I made you proud.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Man, I can relate to that so much because my mom like never got to, I mean, we had a good relationship growing up, but she was sick. She had diabetes and she was sick my entire life. Like my youngest memories were like one of my youngest core memories is like being in the hospital when she the day she got her kidney transplant. I was like 4 years old, and so like that's all I knew was like her being sick. And but then when she passed away, so like I was kind of used to it, but then when she passed away in high school, like I just kind of went about life, and but she like never got to meet any of my kids or see me I didn't graduate, but like she didn't get to see me get my GED, or she didn't get to see me like go and like do different job, and like those things. And so like for me, it's a real, like I struggle with that too. Like I hope that I made you proud, Mom. You know what I mean? Like and so, but like, so like, it's so awesome to hear that. Like that made me smile so much. That
it forever makes me smile having that moment. Like, I know I made you proud, because all she could do, even though she's sick and hooked up to all these machines, she's like, let me tell you about my daughter. And the cool, she DJ'd for Mike Jones. I'm like, yeah, Mom, I know. Like,
that's so awesome that you get like, and you can just like, you have that moment forever,
Yeah, I'm like, I know I made her very proud,
Yeah. So what, while we're talking about like accomplishments and stuff, like what was that like at the Moda Center? Man,
surreal.
I remember when that happened. I remember when
so surreal. Fucking, oh God. Just winning the competition was surreal. So it was a competition with Jim and 107.5 at their penthouse thing. And it was me and Roulette Delgado. We threw down a set together. And God, there was a bunch of other artists there. I'm pretty sure Stano was one of the competitors. I was the only female DJ at the whole competition. And I remember when they announced it, they're like, and the winners are... And I looked around and it didn't feel real for a moment. I was like, they're like, no, that's you guys. You won. I was like, wait, what? Like, no fucking way. Like, and then I remember rolling up and I was like, I don't even know where we load in. Like, there's big ass stadium.
Yeah.
Like, I was just very nervous, but so pumped and so fueled. And a stadium that size, when you look out, pretty much all you see is bright lights. You can see the first part of the crowd, but you can't see a lot of it. It's just a blur out there. And I remember they gave everybody these cool like purple LED bracelets that like blinked.
Okay.
And that was the majority of what I could see, was just thousands of these little purple blinking lights throughout the whole crowd, and it just looked like a galaxy of people. I was like, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. Like, holy crap. I was like, now I can say I've played to 30 people and 30,000 people.
Dude.
And I was like, that's so rad.
Yeah, that is amazing.
And I got to play with a Roulette Delgado. Shout out to my boy.
Shout out to him for sure.
I love him so much, so very much. That's another person that has just persevered through so much in life and just continues to strive and strive and strive to he just made his first book, just released his first book.
I know. I want to get him. I should reach out to get him on the podcast for sure.
Big Burr, he was on fucking a whole reality television show and just doing the coolest shit. And that's somebody that I look up to a lot. because I know he's been through a lot, but he'll be damned if he let life beat him down. Even if he came from the trenches, even he was like birthed in prison. Like his life story is wild, and that's so cool that he made a book to come out with it. But yeah, it was surreal. It was absolutely surreal.
I can't imagine. I mean, I did. I think my biggest show was like, it was a festival called PBR Fest, and there was probably, I mean, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people.
Hell yeah,
or something. And like, dude, like that's cool. That's cool shit. It was a big ass stage. I mean, the people weren't all like it was a huge festival, so people were over here getting up and people over here like, and but like,
I love festivals.
Oh man, it was one of the coolest experiences for sure.
I remember looking out on the crowd, and there's a picture of it somewhere. Roulette, he got his pride flag out, and he wore it like a cape out there, and was just rapping and hyping the crowd up. And I was like, what a beautiful moment, man. Like, what a beautiful moment. Like that. That's why you can't ever give up, because if you give up on life, like every chance like that you could potentially have in life of seeing something so beautiful, it's all gone as soon as you give up.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I didn't, because of it, I've got to experience and live out dreams that I didn't even know I had. It's not like growing up I was like, I'm gonna be a badass DJ someday and do all these things. I didn't even know I had these dreams until they were like in my reach, and I was like, no, that I want to do that.
Yeah,
I want that, and I'm gonna get that. Like,
well, and you've gone on tours, and like where have you gone? Like, tell us about where you've gone. Like,
just pretty much the West Coast. Washington, or all over Oregon, California, Arizona, Vegas. We played a bunch of shows. We played a bunch of shows in Vegas.
I would love to do a show in Vegas.
The first time I ever went to Vegas was actually to play shows there with Theory for the Birth of a Theory tour.
Yeah.
Another person. Shout out to fucking Greg Simpson. I love that dude so much.
He will be on the podcast September 21st. He will be on this show. I'm
gonna have to tap into that.
Yeah.
That's my boy. He has been such a rock in my life. He's another person. We've rocked so many shows together. We've traveled all over the West Coast together and just experienced so many beautiful moments in life, as well as so many really hard moments in life. When I was displaced last year, when I was hospitalized, he was actually the last person I stayed with before I got hospitalized. He had a little spare room that's like his studio. It had a couch in it. And he's like, Byro, you can crash on my couch as long as you need, until you can get back into your place, blah, blah, blah. I got you. Like, don't worry about it. I'm like, dude, I'll kick you down some money. And he's like, I'm not worried about that. Like, you just make sure you're good, make sure you're safe. And, that's all that matters. Like, and that meant so much to me.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to reach out sometimes, especially when it's things that are your fault. Like, I'm the one that caught this fucking house on fire with a stupid fucking cigarette. And
a fire safe cigarette at that, right?
I
mean, they're all fire safe now, right?
So like, in one of those ashtrays, like the car ashtrays, you're supposed to snuff it out. In one of those, man. Didn't snuff it out.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. Being vulnerable is tough for sure.
It is, but he never made me feel judged, and that's how you got to be to your people. It's one thing to express concern and be like, hey, there's a time and a place to talk about things, but sometimes your people just need you, without question. And that was a time that I really needed somebody to just take me in without question, and he did that. So
shout out to Theory.
Good friend. Great fucking friend.
Yeah. Speaking of him, we got King of the Mic this Friday. Well, why don't you? Are you DJing it too, or are you just?
No, I'm just helping facilitate it.
Cool.
I'm just helping be in the middleman, you know.
Nice.
I try to make cool shit happen for cool people.
Who's the DJ?
So, Isaiah Weber. DJ
Oh, okay.
Webbs.
Okay, yeah. I got him on Instagram and stuff.
Oh yeah, DJ Webbs. He's such another really great fucking solid person. Such a supportive through everything that I've been doing at the Tiki. He's been nothing but supportive and helpful with equipment or running sound or really making posters and flyers or anything that I need. He's got my back on, and I love and appreciate that so much. Because when you're trying to make cool things happen, you have so much on your plate. Sometimes it's hard. You're like, I gotta push something off of this plate. Somebody please take it. Like,
yeah, support
like,
system is amazing. Yeah,
but Isaiah Weber, DJ Webbs is DJing it. So it is a hip hop competition, a healthy little hip hop competition. So we got a few contestants each round. We pick one winner from each round, and then they go to the finals, which is the last Friday of this month. Let me pull out my calendar because I don't ever know what the date is.
20.
Oh, the 26th is the final round.
Yeah, because the 19th is my round.
Yes.
Friday.
Yep. And then this Friday we got True Story versus Amos, which is going to be so dope.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to do my best to be there. Yeah.
Oh, I hope so.
And then I don't even, who am I going up against?
Ezo Beats and Holy Flow.
Yeah. Shouts out to them. Shouts out to everybody that put themselves out there for that. That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
But Greg's doing putting all that together and stuff. And, and who are the judges?
So him, his sister Keisha, and then Savell the native.
Okay. Cool.
Unfortunately, Savell wasn't able to make it last week, as well as Keisha. They had a few things that came up and whatnot, but we expect to see them there these next few weeks.
Nice.
So,
yeah, I saw Kylie was there performing.
Hell yeah, he was.
Man,
he always put on a good show. I love that cat.
Yeah, nothing but love for him, for all those guys. So what I always ask everyone this, I advocate for mental health, obviously. What does Danyell Byro advocate for?
I mean, a lot of things, a whole lot of things. But in relation to what we've been talking about, mental health, I would say I advocate for survival. You know, it's not always easy. It's hard. It's hard mostly. It's hard more times than it is not. But you know, I advocate that no matter what you're going through, whatever you're facing, you can make it through. You may not think that you have the tools to make it through, and that's okay if you don't, because somebody around you, somebody does. Somebody out there has the tools that you need, and sometimes you have them and you just don't see them, you know. But I would say above all, I advocate for survival and, you know, keeping going despite all the bullshit. You know, I advocate for showing love to people, and continuously showing that love, because if it wasn't for the love that people have given to me, I wouldn't be able to put it back out in the universe. So I guess, you know, it just paying it forward and keep it going no matter what. Because you gotta, you know, like I said earlier, if you give up, you take away every chance that you could ever possibly have of experiencing true happiness and experiencing some of the bliss that the world does have to offer you. You know, just because one moment seems dark doesn't mean the next moment's going to get dark.
Right.
It's not going to be like that forever. And I promise you that. And I know that very personally. You know, life's a roller coaster, but then it slows down at some point. So when it slows down, you got to take those moments and appreciate it. And hey, you know, let's stay strong. Another thing might hit me someday, but you know what? That's all right, because I have gained a lot of strength in my life, and I know if I've made it up to this point, that I can make it up to the next point, and the next point, and the next point. So
that's, yeah. I mean, it's so. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of having like a moment. I fucking love talking to people, and I love hearing what people have to say, and just what makes people go and what drives people. And you just said it so beautifully. I couldn't agree more. And now I have one more question for you, and it's a new question that I'm just starting on this podcast, and it's kind of going to be silly, but
Can't be that silly.
well, and so I mean, I'm a rapper, and so this is going to be like a hip hop kind of based question. If you had to write a song to your or about your journey with mental health as a whole, would it be a diss song or a love song, and what would the name be?
Oh, that's a lot. Well, I have a lot of stuff that I've written about my life. Poetry is a big outlet of mine when I'm not feeling good. Some of the stuff that I rap is more like kind of a rap, like there's a beat in my head going.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of it is just poetry. And some of my favorite pieces actually it's like a journey. Like sometimes I don't want to have to go through all my notes, but there's this one, I can't remember the name of it, but it starts out so dark, and I stopped writing it at some point. And like 3 years later, I was going through my notepad and I found it. And I was like, oh my God, this is actually really triumphant. Like I was in such a different state of mind at this point, and I remember being there, and I remember it so clearly, and I was so sad when I wrote this, and I felt so broken down, but I don't feel like that anymore. Yeah. And looking back on this, I gotta finish it. I have to finish it and write this story of triumph. And so that's what I did. And fuck, now I feel like I gotta find it. God damn it.
That's so I love writing too. I don't do it much outside of music anymore, but I used to journal a lot. And just some of the yeah, it's so great just to get that stuff out, and it's not rattling around in your brain anymore and pissing you off. You can put it on the piece of paper and then read it, and you're like, okay, like this is what's this is what's bugging me. I can, it's on the checklist now. I don't know. Let's see what Kenny Johnson. Sorry guys, I'm a little late on these. I'm a lot late actually on these comments, but Rich says, I would love to come and be there. I think he was when I was talking about my show. My wife would kill me if I disappeared long enough to drive up there and back. Yeah, I appreciate it, Rich. Kenny Johnson says she's looking down smiling. I think that was when we were talking about your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steven Setura says, appreciate you. Shouts out to you, Steven. That is actually our sponsor of the show, Seamless Electrical Solutions. Kenny Johnson says you guys rock.
You rock, man.
You rock, Kenny.
I couldn't find the poem that I was trying to find, but I found this note from February 12th, 2019. And I said, which is crazy because this is right before things started to kind of downfall. And it's crazy looking back on because this is how I felt again this last year when life almost slipped away from me. A bittersweet fact of my life. I've spent a lot of my time in my life wanting to die. But if anyone or anything tried to take my life from me, I'd fight for it like it was my dying day. And damn right.
Yes.
Damn right.
Yes. That's beautiful. That is, let's get a round of applause for that. I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just kind of I figured I'd throw that question out. I've been thinking about it. And you know what? And I love that. I love the answer that I got. So I think I'm going to keep asking some form of that question. But yeah.
The song name I would have to think on a little bit.
Yeah.
Title is important.
Yeah. I might have to throw it out earlier in the episode, halfway through or something. But well, is there anything else that you want to leave the people before you get out of here? Or where they can find you?
Well, you can find me a lot of places. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, anywhere you can pretty find me through Danyell Byro, DanyellByro, Dan plus Yell. I'm pretty sure my parents just didn't know how to spell it, so they're like, sound it out. Danyell. My Insta is DJ Byro 69. 69 because I'm a teenage boy at heart. And if I can leave you with anything, keep going. Keep going, even if you don't want to. It's just like when I was talking about going to the gym earlier. You got to go even when you don't want to. So, don't give up. Keep fighting that good fight. Keep fighting the shitty fight. Whatever fight it is, keep fighting it. You're only going to get stronger. You're only going to get better. You're only going to get smarter and stronger. And, give yourself that chance at happiness, because you're going to find it. You will.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to work for it for a bit, but it's worth it. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, I wholeheartly agree. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing. It was a pleasure to talk to you. It's always a pleasure to hang out and talk and, spend a little time. So hopefully we can do it again sometime. Yeah, of course. Guys, make sure you go show her some love on social media. Go to the Tiki Lounge if you're in Salem. Go show some love. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll see you soon.
All right.
Thank you, y'all.
Yep. Bye. All right. Well, that was an amazing conversation, guys. I just, each episode, I think I just fall in love with talking to people a little bit more. And that's something I'd never thought that I would say, but it's just so great to be able to talk to people and to learn more about people, especially people, that I care about in my life and stuff. But, it's just a pleasure to have people on and to get to pick their brain a little bit about mental health, because I feel I really love mental health, and anything that I can do to just help spread the word. She was talking about just, not giving up and continuing on. And I think it's really important to give yourself grace. You have to give yourself grace. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw up. There's going to be things working against you. And you can't let that deter you from the end goal. The end goal is what in life? It's just to be happy at the end of the day. And you're always going to have an opportunity to move past the tough times. So, she hit it right on the head. Just keep going. There's always going to be an opportunity for growth and for happiness. You just gotta find it sometimes. Man, great episode. That was a great conversation. Let's give a shout out to People Helping People. If you guys haven't checked them out yet, go over to People Helping People live on YouTube and give them a sub. Tell them UpLeft State of Mind sent you. They're having a fundraiser for Camp ASDA, which is a camp for type 1 diabetics, and they're trying to send a kid to camp. And it's a life-changing experience. If you guys have the opportunity to help out, go over to their website, go over to the YouTube channel. I'm sure you'll be able to find a link or something, and reach out to them, send them a message, and let's try to change a kid's life, And so go over to People Helping People live on YouTube and check that out. Today is Suicide Prevention Day. So just remember, like it says down here at the bottom of the screen, reaching out is strength, not weakness. Please remember that. It is okay to not be okay. Reach out if you need to. If you're over on Facebook, thank you for being here. Come over to the YouTube channel, hit that sub button. Let's see what we got. I'm looking up at my board. Next episode is Saturday. It's going to be a 3:30 start, 3:30 Pacific time. We have a good friend of mine, a lifelong friend. James Yount is going to be on the show Saturday, and he's got a lot of great things to talk about. It's a very inspiring story. of recovery and perseverance. And so if you guys could tune in for that on Saturday, 3:30 start, that would be greatly appreciated. Again, if you're going to be in the McMinnville area, Sunday, 5 o'clock is my fundraiser, Rizzle's Give Back at Happy Acres, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. I think the music starts about 5:15, and we're going to go till about 9 o'clock. Get your raffle tickets there. There's going to be a bunch of prizes. So whatever you guys need to do to find a baby. Oh, you don't need to find a babysitter because kids 12 and under get in free. So bring the kids, bring the family, get the kids face painted for free. Send them to the bounce house. You can go in, watch some live music. It's going to be a great time. Bring some school supplies. The whole point of this is to bring school supplies. Go to the store. You get $15 worth of school supplies. I just bumped the mic because I'm talking with my whole arms. And $15 school supplies. Bring your receipt. Show them the receipt at the door. Boom. You're in. Free. That's it. I mean, it's not free, but it's free, right? Because it's going to a good cause. So, yeah, come and support. We hopefully it's going to be the first of many give back shows. So we have like Danyell was talking about, we have a toy drive in December 5th that we're going to be putting our all of our resources together to make a difference there. And as soon as the flyer is out, I will have a bunch of more details about that. So I'm really excited about that as well. Yeah, I think I got just about everything. King of the Mic is next, the 19th, next Friday, my round. If you guys have some time. Old man Burger, flights are costly. I wish I won the lottery. I would have been there. Hey man, that's all right. That's all right. I appreciate the support anyways. If you win the lottery, I'll fly out and see you. Well, you can fly me out to see you. How about that, old man Burger? No, but it's been real great. We've had a bunch of people, a bunch of different businesses get involved, and a bunch of people that haven't, that aren't going to have the opportunity to actually be there at the event that have hit me up and given me donations and stuff. So I know that we're going to make a big difference, and it's just going to be the first of many. So that's I think all I got for that. Again, Suicide Prevention Day. If you guys need help, text or call 988 for support. Tell a friend about the show. Somebody needs to hear something, right? Somebody always needs to hear something. We might be the ones that say it. So keep that in mind. Tell a friend. And remember, it's okay to not be okay. And until next time, I appreciate you guys. We will see you. Rich, have a good night, all, and please be safe. And remember, someone loves you. Of course they do, Rich. And also remember, tell somebody you love them too. We'll see you guys. Have a good night.
Before I lay me down, let's get this off my chest first. Excerpt of my life, I call it my next verse. I'm stressed, keep it in perspective. I'm an expert about this Northwest way of life. Hey, it could end worse.